Basketball, basketball, basketball. Curtis Blow's favorite sport, and what has to be the favorite sport at Baylor these days. The Bears move into the top 10 in the coaches or the AP poll. We're all following Ken Palm now as Big 12 fans because that's what really matters. And Baylor now gets the respect from the AP. With all the chaos that ensued in the top 10 last week, Baylor slots themselves right in there at number 6 in the poll this week. That makes Baylor the only team to have both their men's and women's basketball in the top 10. And the schedule is going to get better, at least more exciting, because I think after this next game tonight against Seton Hall, they will have 2 games in a row that I hope are against ranked teams, but those teams that they're playing are trying to make sure that it's not that case. That would be Michigan State and Duke before the holidays. And it's a good tune-up, obviously. Those should be top 10 teams. But Scott Drew has also been pretty good at getting kind of Power 5 tune-ups, if you will, because you don't see Auburn in the rankings yet, but we saw them. That's a good basketball team. That could be a tournament team. Probably is a tournament team. And the SEC, another one in the SEC, Florida in New York a couple weeks ago and Black Friday. That's a good team. You're not going to see them in the top 25 just yet, but that's a tournament team. And Baylor played them on the second for their second game in 3 days and scored 91 on them. They gave up a lot of points, but they won the game. Seton Hall is that way too. Seton Hall is a team that was only in the NIT last year, although they did have some big wins. They did beat UConn in the Big East, and I think Seton Hall is a team that could make that jump this year. The second year under Shaheen Holloway, you'll remember him. He was the St. Peter's coach that knocked off Kentucky and went to the Elite Eight. Yes, this guy had St. Peter's 1 win away from the Final Four. By the way, that was Baylor's side of the bracket because they lost to UNC and Carolina went to the Final Four. So this guy can coach. He's really going to try to slow the game down, I think. He plays very much a half-court style, which Baylor isn't exactly running all over everybody, but they like to get out in transition with the amount of points they're scoring, but they are still a deadly half-court basketball team. This is probably the best offensive team we've seen under this in the Scott Drew era. Last year was right up there as well. Obviously, 2021 was excellent. Still a very good defensive team, and that was still more their bread and butter. But this could well be the best offensive team that Scott Drew has ever had in 20 years here at Baylor. They can shoot the lights out. In fact, I saw this great tweet today. It was kind of a graph of what they, it's a graph of shooting basically, and teams who are shooting well at a high volume, teams that should shoot more, teams that are shooting too much because they're inefficient, teams that can't shoot and they know it is the way they put this, and room to shoot more within the right context. So shoot a lot, make a lot, keep it up, overusing the inefficient 3-ball, can't shoot and they know it, and room to shoot more. Okay. Those are basically the 4 categories. And it's kind of a line graph here. And then there's one team that is above all of those. And it's under the subtitle, Good Lord, in a good way. And that's the Baylor Bears. They are so far ahead of everyone. And so that means they shoot it a lot and they make it a lot. That's something I talked about going into this season. They've got shooters everywhere, man. And the best part about it is they had shooters everywhere last year, okay? But they don't need it the way they needed it last year. They still shoot a lot and they still make a lot. They're scoring 90 points. Last year, they needed to shoot a lot and make a lot to make 75 points. They had no threat in the paint on either side of the floor. Yves Missi changes that 1,000%. And he is another reason why they are so good in efficiency. They are number 1 in the nation in adjusted offense. Number 1 in the nation. And by the way, their defense gets better by the game too. I know Northwestern State stinks. I know. They held them to 40 points. That's insane at the Division I level. 40 points. They're number 44 in the nation in adjusted defense. Well, Cam, that doesn't jump off the page. Well, yeah, but they keep moving up every game. And for as great as that 2021 team was defensively, and they were great. In terms of the Ken Palm adjusted defensive ratings, they were 22nd. So not top 5, not top 10, 22nd. So if Baylor keeps moving in on this pace, they're going to be challenging that 2021 team in terms of the numbers, just the raw numbers. That's a good position to be in. And I've said it before, it doesn't mean they're as good as that 21 team, but they are deeper than that 21 team. 21 team probably had more top-end talent. Of course, they were the national champions. But this team has excellent top-end talent and are deeper. If they stay healthy and they continue to improve defensively every game, they're going to be scary good. Like scary good in what is obviously a great top-to-bottom conference, the best conference in America. But I say top to bottom, it's great and it's true, but the top 3 in this conference right now can all be in the Final Four if the bracket permits. Kansas, Houston, and Baylor are all Final Four caliber teams. And we have seen that Baylor is a cut above Texas as well, who is also a pretty good team. They're going to be scary good. And Seton Hall's a nice little tune-up, okay? In terms of the Ken Palm rankings, Baylor is 6th, which is now their coaches poll ranking. And Seton Hall's 62. Okay. Not great. Not as good as Florida. A lot better than Oregon State, who you kick the crap out of. So we'll see. It's a good test. It's a good test, especially when you're a couple days removed from your last game and it's, 10 days, I think, before the Michigan State game, maybe 11. I think that's the 16th that they play Michigan State. So this is going to be a good test. Your second to last time to get out in the Ferrell and see the Baylor men's basketball team. It's going to be my last time at the F Shack. It's going to be a little emo. I'm really looking forward to the Foz a lot better. The Foster Pavilion. It's going to be great. And the Ferrell Center is quite honestly a dump, and there's nothing great about it. But, I like going to basketball games there. I used to like on weeknights sitting way up by myself in the GA and just taking it all in. I graduated there. It'll still be around, but I don't have any reason to go if Baylor basketball isn't playing there. And I'm excited about the Foster Pavilion. And I'm excited about this Baylor basketball team. Tell me what you think about this month upcoming here for Baylor basketball, where they get Michigan State and Duke and close out the Ferrell Center. Emotional month before heading into the gauntlet that is the Big 12 schedule. Be sure to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down in the comment section. It all helps the algorithm quite a bit. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at RealCamStewart. And of course, at Locked On Baylor is where we will have all your updates. We're going to talk a little more transfer portal this week, of course, but we'll have a full breakdown of the win against Seton Hall for tomorrow's show. Thank you for joining me, and join again tomorrow on Locked On Baylor.